Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, with a cup of tea. So, I still have not sorted out my merchandise shipping costs because I know there's something I can do about it, but I'm not sure how to do it. And I just haven't had time because it's all go at the moment, as you know. With this, gosh, we asked for this College of Policing report, didn't we? We've been going mad for it and saying, when's it coming out? And now it's here. It's like, oh my God, you know, trying to cope with it, trying to cope with everything that's in it and the all the things that have happened since Monday. So, you know, it's been a strange week. It's been a strange week. Anyway, you know, for all of us that have been following this case, you know, just when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, it's a weird one. You thought it couldn't get any weirder. Of course, it has got weirder. But I do think that the College of Policing report is good because it. I know it's a bit of a whitewash and everything like these things always are, but I think they've been more critical of themselves probably than I was expecting them to. And there's some very interesting things have come out in it, you know, that we didn't know, that things that we that make a bit more sense. Like I always said I think this was just a total cock up from start to finish, and they're almost really saying that in this report in the different sections. You know, apart from really maybe the first day, maybe the first 2 days, when the search operations seemed to be quite good, though they still didn't find Nicola, of course. But you know, everything else, all the different sections that I've been through so far, you know, the family not giving family liaison officers, not declaring it a critical event, you know, it's just cock up after cock up after cock up. And I'll tell you in this video, it doesn't get any better. It's more cock ups, but very interesting for us to be able to maybe understand a bit more, you know, about what was going on. And I think the very main problem was this that we're going to look at today: the leadership and the decision not to declare a critical incident. And it's deciding who was responsible for that, because, you know, of course, we only know about Sally Riley, Rebecca, etc., the people we've seen, but there's somebody who was in charge right at the beginning I don't know who it was. Somebody might know who it was, who seems to have made quite a lot of fundamental mistakes from day one. And I don't even mean Sally, but we're going to find out anyway as we go through this. So first of all, thank you, as always. Thank you so much to all of you that subscribe, etc. Everyone who likes my videos, please don't forget to like. And everyone who shares my videos or just watches them, I want to say hello to those. I'm going to say hello to the ones in the chat in a minute, and the ones of you at home, I want to say hello to the ones that are just sitting watching at home. Even you trolleys, even you other channels that are just watching to see what I'm up to. Hiya, thank you for watching. You're helping my channel. Thank you so much. Now, I also want to thank, I'm frightened of pressing the wrong button. I also want to thank my members. We had a really good members live last night, and as always on a Thursday. And of course, I released the College of Policing report that we did. And, you know, we talked, I think I sort of broke a story really about Paul selling his house, and I cut it off my main video because I didn't think it was really nice, like the girls' bedrooms and everything, going for the world and his dog to see. But of course, it's been picked up and it's all over social media. So I hope they're all right. I don't blame him for moving. You know, whatever you think about what happened to Nikki or what didn't, I don't blame him for moving. That's for sure. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to put this ticker on because, yes, thank you to those of you. Yeah, I can put this ticker on. I don't actually have to say that, all these thanks, because I've worked out how to do this ticker. Okay, so yeah, anyone who sent me a Ko-fi, anyone who's joined my channel, anyone who sent me a super, sent me an email, I am inundated with emails at the moment, as you can imagine. Everyone's been thrown into this sort of, it's quite weird, isn't it? Because it's like everything you knew about something has just been turned upside down. So I have had a lot of emails, lots and lots of emails, and not only emails, messages. And I am trying to, and of course the comments and things, so I am working my way through them. I always read people's emails, or at least scan read them, and I get back to them if I think they need an answer. But I just want you to know, if I haven't got back to you, or if I'm late or getting back to you, I'm not ignoring you. It's just the volume at the moment of emails is quite, it's because not only that, trying to deal with this report and get it all out. So what I'm doing is I'm doing this report onto video by video, section by section. We pick up on, it's a long report and there's a lot of gumph in it, so I'm sort of sifting it for what I think is important, but I don't want to censor the report for you. If you want to read the report, it's available on Google. You can Google it and it comes up and anyone can download it and read it if you want to look at the absolute fine print. I'm just reading out things that I think are important and trying to make it a bit more palatable, if you like, for a person to understand who's not in the police, because obviously there's a lot of information in there about practices and their sort of working practices, etc. So I hope I make it so that it's not too boring. And I've already made this video of me reading what I think are the important things. So I'll be able to sit and watch it with you and comment with you. So first of all then, let's say hello. So I know I'm going to have to go quite back far up here. There's a lot of you here. Thank you so much. Hi, Tina. Tina's raking leaves. Hi, Rini. Hi, David. Hi, Jackie. You've missed 3 lives. Well, at least you can catch up with them, Jackie. You can catch up with them, so at least you've not missed them properly. But it's nice to be on a live. I think people like the lives because I could just present these as videos, but I know you like to be chatting about it as I'm presenting it. So that's the reason why I'm trying to do as many lives as possible, because you like chatting. Hi, Desi. Hi, Funky. Hi, Jackie. Jackie Taylor. I've got a couple of Jackies. So hi, Jackie Taylor. Hi, DMV. Hi, Susan. Of course, you're all saying hello to each other. I said hello to DMV. Hi, Carl. I think, did I say hello to Carl? Hi, Julie. You're awake at the right time of day for a change. Hi, Pauline. Hi, Lizzie Bell. Hi, Ocean. Yeah, and when I've gone through the hellos and I start the video, I will be able to join in the chat with you, which I really like doing that as well. Yeah, I think she's hi, Carla. Carla saying Nicola, she has been completely let down. That's what I think, but we'll just stick with it. We'll just stick with it. Hi, Mal. Hi, Maria. Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is play the video, and there's a couple of things you'll find very, very interesting here. So let's just listen and then let me know what you think, as always. Press play. Chapter 2, Leadership. Decision not to declare a critical incident. I think you'll find this, to me, this is the very first fundamental mistake. And after that, it was like a bun fight, this case. Honest to God, the more you hear about it, the more you think, oh my God. The following is taken from the College of Policing's Critical Incident Management APP. A critical incident is defined as any incident where the effectiveness of the police response is likely to have a significant impact on the confidence of the victim, their family and/or the community. The APP guidance also states that management of a critical incident, CI, should start with early identification and notification. Processes should be in place to manage issues that may affect the quality of the police response before they affect public confidence. Particular attention should be paid to the needs of the victim, their family, and the community. The guidance is clear around who can declare a critical incident. It states that anyone can call a CI to bring it to the attention of a senior officer, but only a designated senior officer, for example, a duty inspector, can declare an incident as critical. At the outset, the investigation was correctly not declared a critical incident. However, the investigation should have been declared as a critical incident as it developed. On the 30th of January, so it still hadn't been declared a critical incident by then, the FLA felt that it was probably a critical incident, but it was not declared a critical incident at this time. On the 5th of February, the SIO made a written and recorded request to a member of the Chief Officer team for the investigation to be declared as such, recognising the negative impact of the media reporting. The Chief Officer declined to declare it as such, believing the community to be extremely supportive. So who's that? The Chief Officer. So it was the Chief Officer who declined to declare it as a critical incident. So now the SIO, yeah. So this is important because the Chief Officer at the time, he or she, I mean, I don't know who the Chief Officer was. And it wasn't Rebecca, because Rebecca tried to have it declared as a critical incident. So this is something I think has been interesting for me. As it goes on, you'll see what I'm saying about more sympathy with Rebecca now than I did. Like, it was so defensive, wasn't she, at that press conference? As we read this about the leadership, you'll realise why she was totally uncomfortable with everything. And the first thing was this not declaring it a critical incident was apparently the Chief Officer, who they say is now retired. But anyway, so I don't know, was it Rebecca? It's quite confusing. So let's give her some credit. She made a written, that would have been Rebecca, would it? Made a written and recorded request to a member of the Chief Officer team, but the Chief Officer declined to declare it as such. So who was the Chief Officer? Anyway, we'll look at that. Believing the community to be extremely supportive. While not agreeing to the SIO's request, the Chief Officer instead suggested that the Gold Group meeting the following day could revisit this decision and review it as appropriate. So it did say it could be reviewed. I'm saying he, it could have been a she. Oh, but this was not discussed or added as an agenda item for the Gold Group meeting the next day or subsequently. This decision was made despite the clear and significant impact on Nicola's family and the community, as well as the diminishing public confidence in Lancashire Constabulary. In the same communication, yeah, so I don't know if you caught that or not, but what happened was, so the SIO, which I presume was Rebecca Smith, again, they don't name anybody, so we don't know who it is. Maybe it doesn't matter, I don't know. But the SIO requested that it be set as a critical incident. the CO, or whatever they're called, I hate all these bloody initials, said, the chief officer said no, they didn't think, but they said they would bring it up the next day at a review, and they didn't bring it up at a review. So the SIO was just left like having requested it, but didn't get, it made as a critical incident. So no wonder she was a bit peed off, to be honest, then. You would be peed off because she was the one. Well, you'll see, she was brought into the press conference, but really it shouldn't have been her. So it's quite interesting. Patient to the SIO, the chief officer referenced the activity of Mr. Folding and his potential impact. It was not until the 16th of February, that's 3 days before Nicola was found. It was not until the 16th of February that Lancashire Constabulary agreed to declare the incident as a critical incident, following media criticism and the subsequent release of Nicola's personal information. Dear me. So they didn't declare it as a critical incident until, was it the 14th that they said? Hang on, I might have just missed the date. Let's just hear that again, because I mean, she was found a couple of days later, but it is appropriate. So he did say it could be reviewed. I'm saying he, it could have been a she. So he said it could be reviewed, but it wasn't reviewed. Oh, but this was not discussed or added as an agenda item for the Gold Group meeting the next day or subsequently. This decision was made despite the clear and significant impact on Nicola's family and the community, as well as the diminishing public confidence in Lancashire Constabulary. In the same communication to the SIO, the chief officer referenced the activity of Mr. Folding and his potential impact. It was not until the 16th of February. Yeah, so the 16th of February before it was declared. It was 3 days, wasn't it, before Nicola was found. So, well, at least they're telling us this. I mean, I do think this is detailed, and at least they're saying it. Of course, it's such a big report. It takes a lot of chewing through. It's going to take quite a while, but I'm determined to get through it. I will get through it. I will do it bit by bit. I mean, I have read through it, but when I do it closely like this, I always get more out of it. Things that you could read this report 100 times and there'd still be something you might have missed. Is that much in it. So when I've finished sort of recording all the segments, I'm going to put them together in a playlist. And if any day, maybe it's like freezing cold outside and you've got nothing better to do, you might want to just listen to the whole thing. But I personally think it's better in segments because otherwise you lose concentration on what they're saying. 3 days before Nicola was found, it was not until the 16th of February that Lancashire Constabulary agreed to declare the incident as a critical incident, following media criticism and the subsequent release of Nicola's personal information. Dear me. Sorry, I've got coffee here. So, gosh. So that decision was made despite the clear and significant impact on Nicola's family. Just been let down so much by everyone in this. Anyway, as reviews have the benefit of hindsight, true, there is a risk that they may criticise decisions that were made at a time when the information known was incomplete. Oh, come on, they knew by then that this was a critical incident. In this case, however, this review considers that the evidence of falling confidence was very clear early on, or at least they're acknowledging it. And this was recognised by people in the investigation. I bet it was bedlam in this investigation. Sounds to me they were arguing about everything, all of them, left, right and centre. The decision by the chief officer team not to declare it as a critical incident earlier was, in our view, misguided. So the chief officer is responsible there. And we have to say that at least Rebecca did request that. The M&E team believed that the Chief Officer team's decision failed to take into account the exceptionally high media and public interest in the investigation that should have been evident to them from the first week. Yeah, that it's like that. Nah, you cover your ears and you close your eyes and you make a noise like la 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 la, as if you're not. It just doesn't exist because you can't see it or you can't hear it. As long as you cover your ears, cover your eyes. Yeah, that's how it felt to me. It was like, well, if we just pretend this isn't happening, like kids do, like they close their eyes and then they think you can't find them because they can't see you. It just, I'm a bit flabbergasted, really. I mean, everybody, I'm not young and I know about social media. I know about social media at least. I don't know as much as maybe my son does, and then my son probably don't know as much as someone who's like 10 years younger than him does, who, because it's adapting all the time, it's changing all the time. But I did wonder about this. I thought, are they all just too old, like too stuck in the ways? They're all on the verge of retirement. They need to get some young blood in there. Guys, make a noise to deafen out the noise that's saying declare this a critical incident. Goodness me. But that was the Chief Officer that made that decision. So I'm sure hearing, as you're listening to this, we'll be on a live. I'm sure somebody will know who the Chief Officer was. I can't remember his name. I know was he the one that appeared at the press conference with Rebecca. Can't remember his name. Oh, it's escaping me. But anyway, public confidence is crucial to policing. It's essential. It's essential, I would say. Public confidence is almost everything, really, isn't it? Because if the public don't have confidence in the police, then how can the police do their job properly? In this case, public confidence in Lancashire Constabulary was likely to have been damaged, largely because they had lost control of the media and social media narrative. Not declaring a critical incident and not releasing more information about the investigation hampered Lancashire Constabulary's ability to control the narrative and undermined public confidence. A successful working relationship between police forces and journalists remains essential to public confidence and policing legitimacy in the UK, according to the Society of Editors. Through access to social media and a 24-hour news cycle, the public are constantly inundated with information and images about world events, both true and false. According to the latest data from Ofcom, news consumption in the UK 2023, 75% of UK adults consume news through broadcast media, including on-demand content, whereas 68% consume news through social media. That's a lot, isn't it? It is therefore vital for police to gain trust and confidence through transparent and accessible communication with the public. When you look at Andrew Snowden, he knows all about social media. He's on it all the time, but he's not. Yeah, now, did you see those figures? So that was interesting as well. Now, you see the mainstream media is changing now, isn't it? It's presenting its own news in a more social media way, isn't it? There's a lot more YouTube things. I don't know if they're doing TikTok. They always fixate on TikTok when they're criticizing much more than YouTube. And maybe that's because mainstream media are on YouTube. They always fixate on criticizing, anything alien to them. But I was interested to see that, or that was big percentages of people turning to social media and different ways of hearing their news now. Remember how it used to be? You'd sit and watch the 9 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, and that'd be it, really, wouldn't it? And then they started with like morning television. So it's all evolving all the time. It's very interesting. Not on it in a a way that gives you confidence. He's on there just talking about, you know, who he's had to dinner, what he's eating, what he's cooking, what wine he's drinking. He's not on there like making you feel that, you know, you're in safe hands under the Lancashire police. He's on there like some fanboy type. You know, it's ridiculous. No gravitas. This say this all the time about politics too, and I know I'm old, and you know, at least when I was young, growing up, you whether you agreed with people or not, I'm not, you know, and you did still feel that sometimes they were lying, but at least you felt like they were at least presenting, you know, a sort of a serious image, and they were professional. Like, no, they're not professional. It sounds to me like this was just a bun fight. Honestly, that's how with Peter, with the police amongst themselves, all just, instead of just concentrating on that one job that they had to do, which was find out what had happened to Nicola, she got lost in it. I do feel she's lost in it now. That's why I'm angry with Peter, because I've just recently, yesterday, I spent a couple of hours going through videos and remove my videos and removing them, because there were videos on there of Peter Balding saying she definitely wasn't in the river, and whatever I was saying in those videos I had based on the fact that I trusted him. I trusted him in what he was saying, and now it's all a load of rubbish. So anyway, looking forward to the evidence, seeing the evidence. Some people seem to think I shouldn't. Yeah, so I'm just saying, so I've had to actually remove loads of my Nicola Bulley content, because in all those videos I'm extolling the virtues of Peter Balding and saying how he said she's definitely not in the river, and all there's just loads. I've had to go, it took me 2 hours yesterday to sit down and go through all the videos, and I've had to make them all private, and I've got to look at them again and decide whether I'm even going to ever show them again, because he's just rubbished everything that everyone thought. That's my argument with Peter. Now, he may have seen her, I don't know, but I want to see the evidence. You know, it's funny because people who've been asking for evidence all the way along, now it's just like, oh, well, Peter said it, so it must be true, and don't think he should have to show any evidence. Everybody has to show evidence. You know, so that's all I'm saying is, okay, I still don't understand why he would have done it anyway, and all this time, you know, because he didn't only say nothing, you know, because people say, oh, well, he couldn't say anything because the police, but he said a lot. He did say a lot. He was left, right and centre. I've got about 20 interviews of him on MSN, more. Saying she definitely wasn't in the river and giving his opinion. So he didn't have to say anything. If he was doing all that behind the scenes, why did he come out and say that? So that's my thing with Peter. And I think that's it. We all feel a bit betrayed, because I trusted him. I've trusted everything he said right from the beginning. I've always been on his side. And now suddenly he's turned around saying this. He's not even, when you don't have to provide the evidence to me. What he has to do is take his evidence, go to somebody proper, I don't know where. He can't just say it and then leave it. He's got to provide the evidence. When he provides the evidence, and then give me a reason why he went off and did all those interviews then. He does have to explain that to me if he ever wants me to trust him again. And I don't mean just me. I mean people like me, because I'm not the only one who feels like that. This is like one of those split things, isn't it? You've got some people who are just like, oh, no, it must be true because Peter's said, because people trust Peter. And then you've got other people who are saying, well, why did he not? You know, you've got people who are questioning it, and feelings are high because people are invested in this case, and it's turned everything upside down. So that's it. But that's not reason for anybody to fall out. We have our opposite opinions. Of course we do. We can't agree on everything. It's impossible. I just want the evidence. That's all. Be asking for evidence. Strange that, isn't it? When they've been asking for evidence all the way along about everything. Now suddenly I've asked for evidence, and it's like, you know, there's this sort of, the thing is, I think you've got to be careful of, we've all trusted Peter, me, you see these videos where I've extolled his virtues and said, oh, I would always trust Peter first, and I've trusted him all along. So, and to people who say, well, he couldn't have done anything, he could have done something which was just not. Sorry, I'm repeating myself because I said this same thing when I was making the video earlier. So sorry, it's a bit repetitive. Sorry, because I've just said it. Carried on being interviewed left, right and centre. He could have been quiet. That's something he could have done. He wasn't quiet. So that's my beef with Peter, and you won't persuade me any different that if you feel that something's wrong, but you feel like you can't actually say anything about it, so instead you go all over the mainstream media saying the complete opposite. You just stay quiet and wait for your moment. Anyway, a senior police communicator at a large urban force highlighted an increasing need for public confidence to be taken into account when making the decision to declare a critical incident. They also suggested that in certain cases, communications needed to be given higher priority in chief officer team meetings. This is particularly true where a case is not operationally difficult but presents reputational risks because of media or social media interest. I am often told comms is a priority on a case and then it's left to the end of the chief officer team agenda. And this is a senior police communicator. So they're all anonymous, these people, which is a bit annoying, but I suppose, I don't know, maybe that's how they normally do it. So conclusions, Lancashire Constabulary should have adhered to the College of Policing APP guidelines on the declaration of critical incidents. In particular, the requirement to consider the reputational impact of high-profile incidents on public confidence in the police. National definitions help to ensure consistent and effective police responses, as well as describing to others the level of seriousness being applied to a policing response. By not declaring a critical incident, the constabulary missed a significant opportunity to signpost clearly, both to those within the constabulary and the wider public, the seriousness with which the constabulary was responding. Nicola's disappearance should have been declared to be a critical incident as early as the 30th of January, as it clearly met the definition provided by the APP. There is ample evidence of this. The decision not to declare it as such, when a chief officer was asked on the 5th of February, was, in our view, a mistake. So this is the chief officer. What will be the, what will be the sort of punishment, if you like, for that? Not punishment, that's the wrong word. How will he be reprimanded for that? Or she? Declaring a critical incident would have led to a stronger command structure with a greater focus on areas of concern. This could have included the assignment of family liaison, greater focus on the media, internal recognition and messaging to staff. The declaration on the 16th of February that this was a critical incident was so late that it was rendered ineffective. Now, I think what I'm going to do when I do finish, I'm still only on page 50, so there's a long way to go yet. And I want to go through that. And then, as I say, I may be leaving this case alone. Well, I want to go through Peter Folding's statement, see what he says. Who knows what might have happened by then. Yeah, because, of course, Peter has made a statement. He comes up a lot later in this report, and it's all critical of him, of course, because they're loggerheads. The police and Peter are complete loggerheads at the moment. So, and I am going to look at Peter Folding's statement, but the thing is I can only do so many videos at a time. And the other thing, though, I'm doing is I'm compiling all the videos I have of Peter Folding and the different things he said, not only when he was there at the river those first couple of days, but later on he was all over mainstream media saying all sorts of things. I have all those videos on my videos because I would report on them every time people would send them me. I would find them. I would do a video about it and say, look, Peter Folding says this, so definitely, you know, I've got all those videos. I've got all those videos, all those interviews that he made. And there are many, many interviews. But anyway. Oh, sorry. Oh, why is it not provided his evidence to somebody official? And, you know, we might be still talking about it. But if not, I will go through his statement and see where we are there when I finally finish this. I don't know when I'm going to get through this. There's other, you know, videos. And I'm sorry, I've just got to say this as well, because people, Funky, I'm sorry, it wasn't that, he said the river was only between 1 and 3 feet deep. Peter said that on many of his videos. Oh, well, the river's only between 1 and 3 feet deep. He didn't have to dive. Okay, so it's just not true. And he wouldn't have been arrested. Of course, he wouldn't have been arrested. Videos that I'd quite like to make, but I think this is important to me. This is like the culmination of 9 months of, you know, this case. From I hope this leads. I hope Peter provides the evidence, and I hope it leads to some sort of independent investigation. I really do hope that, because I want to find out what happened to Nicola. This is what people don't seem to understand. But it's really surprised me that people are so indignant about Peter Folding's reputation that they're not that. They've lost the point of how this affects sort of Nicola and her family, etc. That he's, you know, I think they've built him up so much. We built him on a pedestal. Me too. It's hard to accept that he's got feet of clay in my eyes. So anyway, I've accepted it now. I'm not interested. Unless he's got evidence, I'm not interested in what he's got to say. I don't care what his reputation was or is or whatever, because as we read through the report as well, there's more to come out. And, you know, with things, the truth is normally somewhere in the middle. So I'm not sticking up for Lancashire Police. I think they were rubbish. I'm not sticking up for him because now I'm starting to feel that maybe he was a bit rubbish as well. But anyway, we'll see. But we'll see. Give him the benefit of the doubt until the evidence comes out. So Lancashire, so the recommendations were that Lancashire Constabulary should ensure that their M&E team has sufficient influence and representation in the decision-making process for the declaration of critical incidents to provide a better understanding of the media interest and public confidence level. So there's your lesson that they've got to learn. Oversight and governance. Lancashire Constabulary Chief Officer oversight of the investigation was delivered through daily GRIP meetings, which were overseen by the Deputy Chief Constable. This was supported by fortnightly Chief Officer team meetings, which were chaired by the Chief Constable. A command structure for the incident was implemented quickly on the 27th of January and led by a local chief superintendent. This took the form of a more localised management of the incident. I'm not going to go through the College of Policing's guidance on command structures. I just want to know how it applied here. Now, as I said, I've said in other, if you don't like me, you know, if you want to read the bits that I'm not reading out because I think they're just sort of they'd just be confusing for people to listen to. It's all available online, so you can find the document online and read all the extra bits that I'm not reading out because I'm not trying not to make it too boring. So despite the increasing media profile of the incident, as well as the impact on the family and the public, a gold command structure was not established until the 1st of February, 5 days after Nicola's disappearance. They really were on the back foot. I think it all stems from that first day of her being told that she'd been struggling and this, that, and the other. This is where it all comes from. They thought she'd thrown herself in that river. They did. And they thought that because of what her partner said. And everything went wrong after that, in my eyes. So they stated that the incident was overseen and managed ultimately by 2 gold commanders. However, records of the gold group meetings clearly reference 3 gold commanders, with an operational superintendent performing the role from the 1st to 3rd of February. And they do not reference the silver or bronze supportive roles until the 5th of February, when there was 1 reference. Greater identification and delineation of these roles is documented from 7th of February onwards. So in other words, it was very half-hearted until then. The review team feels that an earlier and clearer distinction of roles within this group would have provided a benefit. So a clear goal strategy was not undertaken. Now, I just want to say one more thing about Peter's claims and that. And I'm not saying any more about that for now, because the Peter Folding comes up later in this report, and I'm going to go through his statement. But I just want to say one thing, that the police wanted to find Nicola because they wanted it to support their hypothesis. For them to find her within the first couple of days, or if whether they found her or Peter found her, and I'm sure there was a lot of this there, but also these videos that I've got Peter, he's extolling the virtues of the police. The police couldn't have done a better job. They were fantastic. He's only saying all this now. He wasn't saying all this on his previous videos, and I've got all those videos, and I'm going to put all those together in a video so that people can hear him in his own words saying that. He's only saying the police were rubbish now. At the time, he was extolling the virtues of the police. They were fantastic. They couldn't have done a better job. They couldn't have done more. He's saying that with his own voice. And the thing is, I would say, if to anyone who says that the police deliberately left her down there, I say we're never going to come to an agreement, because that is ridiculous. The police wanted to find her. They would have loved to have found her, because they said from the beginning they thought she'd fell in the river. They would have loved to prove that they were right. Do you see what I'm saying? There was no reason for the police to deliberately leave her there or whatever. Maybe they missed her, maybe they did. And when Peter comes up with his evidence, his sonar equipment evidence, oh gosh, honestly, if you'd listened to the videos I've listened to the past couple of days where he's categorically stating she's not in the river, 20 or 30 times, you would just, I just can't accept what he's saying now, because he was either lying then or he's lying now. He's lying one or the other. And lies, to me, forget it. Forget it. Goodness me. Anyway. Well, we'll see it when he provides it. Till then, I'm not talking about him anymore. Till the 5th of February, 9 days after Nicola's disappearance and 4 days after the Gold Command was first established. Strategy is required at the outset of the implementation of a formal Gold Command structure in order to support the objectives of the incident being managed. Okay, right, there's a lot of sort of police gumph, if you like. I just want to read out the relevant bits, really. The representation between the daily Gold Group meetings was taken solely from Lancashire Constabulary, with no representation from either statutory partners or the community. This may have narrowed the understanding of the community, and public issues presented may have reduced diversity of thought and may have had an impact on public confidence. A community impact assessment was completed on the 30th of January, and revised regularly through the time of the investigation and beyond. This assessment lists a number of people whose views were sought, including local political figures. I wonder who they were. Do you think, because Ben, can't even remember his second name because he's sort of disappeared now, hasn't he? But you remember, and it turned out that Ben, oh God, Ben, he was the Defence Secretary at the time. It turned out he was the local MP for that area. He never said a word, did he? Let me find his surname. Ben Wallace. Yeah. See, he disappeared. He's disappeared out. So, you know, he stepped down from being the Defence Secretary. He's stepping down at the next election. He's not going to stand as an MP again, even. Not anywhere else either. And strange, isn't it? Including political figures, local political figures. So I don't know who that was. The assessment focused on the local impact of the investigation for the communities adjacent to the river. It's understandable that a community impact assessment completed by officers with roles in the local community engagement would have this focus. One of the purposes of a gold group is to raise the strategic focus, to consider the broader implications of an incident. The community impact assessment did not do this, nor would it be expected to do. The gold group would have been better able to consider the broader implications of the incident if it had representation of community people who were able and willing to critique how the investigation was perceived. Right, I'm going down a little bit. The impact of social media on the commentary about the investigation mentioned earlier increased the need for external views as part of the constabulary's management arrangement. A critical incident is defined in relation to the confidence that victims, families and communities have in the police in response. It's important that forces involve individuals who are able to critically apprise the police commanders about the views held outside of their force. Anyway, the review was unable to discuss the investigation with the chief officer. Sounds like the chief officer's got a lot to be responsible for. Who was involved in the investigation? Oh, the review was unable to discuss the investigation with the chief officer who was involved in the investigation from the 30th of January to the 5th of February due to their retirement. Are they talking about Rebecca there? Or is this somebody else who retired? So, yeah, so I'm not sure what this is because they said they couldn't interview the chief officer because they've retired. Now, just because they're retired doesn't mean they can't interview them. So this is this is another load of rubbish. Were they all on the verge of retiring and they just couldn't give they just didn't care because they're just thinking, oh God, I'm retiring soon. How strange. Anybody know who that would be, the chief officer? Is that Rebecca they're talking about? The review was unable to do, well, she's only just retired, so why would they not have been able to discuss it with her? Unless this is someone else. Anyway, the constabulary shared a number of communications that demonstrate chief officer involvement and oversight, the earliest of which is dated 2nd of February 2023. All of these communications focus largely on operational aspects of the investigation. Conclusions. Oh, so this chief officer is gone now, so they're not going to get any retribution. While there was chief officer oversight of the investigation, there appears to have been insufficient focus on the impact on public confidence in the early stages. The high-quality operational elements in the investigation suggests that if similar levels of attention had been applied by chief officers to issues relating to public confidence, then challenges may have been avoided. Lancashire Constabulary should have more closely followed national guidance on gold, silver and bronze command structures. Clear demarcation between command and control, etc., should exist. Greater consideration should be given to the composition of the gold group membership. And the recommendations, Lancashire Constabulary, sorry, I need some coffee, should ensure greater clarity regarding the point at which a gold command structure should be formally established. A formalised gold command supported by silver and bronze roles should operate to a clear strategy outlining the purpose, management and objectives sought. This strategy should have sufficient chief officer oversight, and Lancashire Constabulary should consider the inclusion and benefits of external and community representation within their gold group structures when public confidence is affected. Such representation will allow for community sentiment to be heard and for gold command and leadership to recognise the level of concern in public confidence. Okay, so now media expertise. Well, I think they've had it with public confidence now. I think, tomorrow they could arrest Nicola Bulley's murderer and parade him naked through the streets of St Martin's on Wyre, and the public still won't have any confidence in them. They'll be like, oh, it's a set-up, it's a set-up. People think it's quite funny because everything the police does is a set-up. Everything is a set-up. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? And then Peter Spalding says one thing and it's like, oh, no, we don't need evidence. We don't need evidence. We believe Peter. This is what the police have done to themselves. It's their own fault. I don't know how they're ever going to make that right. I honestly don't know how they're ever going to make that right. Lancashire Police now, they've got this is, and I'm sure they do a lot of good work. I'm sure they do a lot of good work, and if you live in Lancashire, you are going to phone the police. If you've got a problem, you're going to phone the police. Of course you are. So, and I'm sure they don't do everything wrong, but they did this wrong. They did this wrong. And I honestly don't know. I think it'll take a generation, if ever, to make this better. The review found a sense of disbelief and denial among senior leads. God, honest to God, I'm not just saying this, but you'll know if you've watched my videos. I said that right from the beginning. Rebecca, in that press conference, she's just like, well, I've never known anything like it. But there's no point in just saying, well, I've never seen anything like it and everyone should shut up. How are you going to deal with it? It's there. Deal with it. Deal with it. You can't just pretend it's not happening. Anyway, a sense of disbelief and denial among senior leads as to how this type of incident could have grown to such an extent in terms of national and international media and public interest. But so it was unprecedented, but you still got to deal with it. There was a clear sense that Lancashire Constabulary knew how to respond to a high-risk missing person incident, but was less equipped and prepared to manage the media interest on this scale. Senior leaders did not recognise the significant impact that this created. No, they didn't, because they're just thinking, well, go away, you shouldn't be doing this. And, that sort of defensiveness and well, why are you doing it? Instead of dealing with it, they buried their head in the sand. This investigation was treated as seriously as any other missing person matter. This was a reflection on how Lancashire Constabulary saw the incident in policing terms. However, Lancashire Constabulary did not entirely associate the impact of the media on this incident with their policing response. Better appreciation of the media and public interest would have transformed the status of the investigation. Instead, this was underestimated. Coverage of this incident was on a par with many major national media stories in recent times. As a result, it was one of the most high-profile media incidents that Lancashire Constabulary has ever experienced. The impact of this coverage presented a significant challenge to public confidence in LC. It is this aspect that requires the most reflection and learning. The Chief Officer team's apparent lack of recognition regarding the additional dimensions to the incident was, in our view, an error of judgment. While the strategic insight of their M&E team had been available to the CO team, it was not accepted. The CO team may have responded better if the input and expertise of the M&E team had been given more weight in relevant discussions. An example of this is the decision regarding which individual should be the media spokesperson, which is covered in more detail later in this report. It's very interesting that I've read that already, and when we get to that, I think you'll be very interested. So the conclusions: LC should reflect on the significant level of expertise and skill provided by their M&E team, and whether that team's role and advice is sufficiently embedded within its structures and daily GRIP meetings. This may better align the understanding and awareness of public interest, especially in light of discussions held on social media, allowing LC to be more responsive in this area. Ultimately, the weaknesses in the response between operational decisions and understanding the impact on public confidence. So the recommendations: LC's CO team, I'm getting the hang of the initials, should review how much media expertise is connected to CO team oversight and discussion to ensure it has a suitable influence in decision making. Okay, then they've got this graph, which I need to make it a bit smaller to get it on there. So what's this graph about? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you can go on and look at that. It means absolutely nothing to, it's the so we've got the force activity and engagement with the media. Engagement with the media by others, that'd be like Peter and Emma, etc. And media and social media activity and sentiment, which is the red. Sorry, so can I just say, so far, according to this report, we've got Emma acting as the family liaison officer, because no family liaison officer was ever appointed. We've got people like Peter and Emma, going off and making all interviews totally uncontrolled, and nothing's controlled and nothing's been controlled. Why is that? So that's why it's all gone wrong, and as I say, it lost in all this about I'm almost sick of mentioning Peter's name now. And I'll tell you what, I never even thought I would say that. You'd have taken me back just a month. I thought Peter Folding was brilliant. And now I'm just sick of him because he's just complicating things as well. And I think, what happened to Nikki? What happened to Nikki? All this is confused. Him coming out with this now has brought back all these conspiracy theories, all the rubbish that people, we were sort of, people had reached an agreement in one thing. At least it was like justice for Nikki. People had different ideas about what might have happened to her. But I think 90% of people did not believe it was just a simple accident. So everyone was united in that thought. Now this bombshell comes out and everyone's divided, and Nikki's getting lost. Nikki's getting lost in it. And I say to anyone who comes on my messages and what have you now, and criticises me because I'm annoyed with him, as if I should think he's some sort of God that can't accept criticism. what I say to them is, I'm sorry that you care more about his reputation than you do about what actually happened to Nikki, because that's all I care about. It honestly is, whether you believe it or not. I've not done this for 9 months, and the abuse that I get, honestly, God, I could just walk away from it right now and I'd sleep easier at night, not having people call me an idiot and this, that, and the other. So, you know, let's not forget the heart of this. It's about Nikki. It's not about Peter, and it's not about the police. And I notice there's quite a bit of lively chat going on, which is really good. We'll all stay friends, though. We're going to chat. We're going to agree to disagree. We don't have to agree. So, yeah. Well, I can't see any red there. Am I just imagining it? Or where's the red? The social media. So you can see by the 19th, the light blue is a lot more than the police. So there's not much here. So it starts off on the 30th. There's a light blue is engagement with the media by others. So that's anyone except the police, I suppose. And it's very small here. And then you can see it grows, dips down a little bit, doesn't it? And then it grows again. And then it's just massive by the 19th, of course. But, where is the arrival of the... So this red dot is supposed to be the arrival of TikTok. They're obsessed with TikTok, aren't they? It's funny, whenever they talk about social media and that, and they mention, they do say TikTok, and they don't actually often say YouTube. So strange, really, but anyway. So it was from the first press conference at the social media disbelief of drowning hypothesis and social media conspiracy theories began on the 2nd of February. Interesting. Anyway, it needs some. That's when. This is when Dan Walker did the interview with Paul Ansell, which obviously led to a lot more social media interest. These are shares. So the blue is article count, and the light blue is shares on Twitter. It was active. Look at the Twitter. See, I was thinking that was when it said there. It was force activity and engagement with the media. FF is family friend. Oh, family friend criticises the investigation. That was on the 4th. Yeah, that takes a little bit of studying, that graph, but I think what you can see from it is the shares on X or Twitter is hardly anything until the 5th of February, and then it starts all going a bit mad, doesn't it? Anyway, that needs looking at probably in another video, because I could be like an hour looking at that, try and get through this. So media presence. During this investigation, a senior media lead from another force carried out an independent review of Elsie's communications. Senior media lead from another force. The reviewer advised Elsie that they were faceless, while forced press briefings were arranged on 5 occasions. Yeah, so they were told by a media leader from another force that they had to improve, that they were faceless, that they weren't coming over well. They were told that, and, they're just totally inept. The reviewer noted that there was no one individual acting as a figurehead or responding to new angles. By then, this was an international media event, and at its peak, over 6,500 press articles were being generated in a single day. which is almost unprecedented for such an investigation. During this time, Lancashire LC was also receiving significant criticism, with headlines such as the following: Forensic experts slam police's handling of Nicola Bulley disappearance as a mess. On the 5th of February, Nicola Bulley police losing trust after crucial mistake, says top murder detective. 12th of February. Nicola Bulley cops spark fury by revealing mum's recently resurfaced health issues. Daily Mirror, 15th of February. Nicola Bulley police slammed for taking 2 weeks to quiz fishermen over disappearance as critical lead emerges. 15th of February. Did they actually interview those fishermen? I thought they never came forward. The level of detail is deeply disturbing. MPs and campaigners slam Lancashire police for revealing missing Nicola Bulley's battles with alcohol and demand, how does this help the investigation? Denise Walsh blasts disgraceful comments about Nicola Bulley's alcohol and menopause issues. Ex-Met detective says officers in Nicola Bulley's search have created a circus and should not have revealed details of her alcohol and menopause battle, but mentioned mental health from the start. Her family are in a terrible place over revelations. And there's links to all these articles. Obviously, I haven't got time to go into them all now, but you can do. Nicola Bulley cops sexist for revealing her health issues. Revealed Lancashire police refused extra help to search for Nicola Bulley in a move branded bizarre and inexcusable. On the 22nd of February. So LC was labelled sexist and misogynistic because of the release of personal information, and the SIO received extensive inappropriate criticism relating to their appearance. And I agree with that. You know, those women were complaining about the way Rebecca was dressed. It's nothing to do with the way she was dressed. You know, that I would criticise her for other things, but not for the way she was dressed. She can dress how she likes. Maybe she should have had a uniform on, but she doesn't wear a uniform just because she was, you know. Anyway, I don't agree with that. Don't criticise women, criticising other women for their appearance. I think that's wrong, to be honest. So, with the level of criticism and international exposure, there was a clear and obvious threat to public confidence. Having said that, I do want to say, I mean, I think it's wrong to criticise, but really she should have perhaps been a bit more savvy to that. Like, you know when you're going to appear on TV and everybody's looking at you, if you go on, dressed, it's wrong. I think it's wrong, and I don't think people should have criticised her, but maybe she should have known a little bit better, put a little jacket on, that's all. So again, it's just misjudgment, everything done wrong. It's like not realizing the enormity of that situation, the publicity that was being generated all over the world. How could they not realize that? Maybe they're not on social media themselves enough. Because you would know, wouldn't you? Those of us who do watch YouTube and things and get involved with social media, you'd be aware of that. Anyway, with incidents of such nature, a force response regularly involves the most senior individual in that force presenting in the media, providing the necessary visibility and assurance. Had this been done, this could have represented LC and its investigation in a stronger light. It may also settle some of the broader media concerns and overcome the opposing voices. The decision not to present the Chief Constable or Deputy Chief Constable to the media as a figurehead of Lancashire Constabulary does not appear to have been challenged by the Chief Officer team. It is unclear and beyond the ability of this review to establish whether any barriers exist within Lancashire Constabulary's most senior team to holding these type of conversations. So, she was put out there, like it shouldn't have been her. It should have been what they're saying. Their own police report is saying that should have been the chief constable or deputy chief constable. So, Rebecca was sort of almost put there like to take the heat. Yeah, so I found this really interesting. So we know that how uncomfortable Rebecca was in that press conference. Rebecca Smith, she was really defensive. She didn't seem to know properly things like about the harness and stuff. That should not have been her doing that press conference. She was pushed to do it. She actually told them that she didn't want to do it and she didn't feel that comfortable doing it, but she was made to do it. She was almost put out there as yeah, you go and do it. You even though she wasn't comfortable, and it had apparently it should normally be someone higher up in rank that does a press conference like that. Then Pauline Stables, she suddenly went ill, and then Rebecca got. She almost got. Do you see what I'm saying? She almost got sort of set up for it. I think it's just like, yeah, you go and take the, the. I try not to swear. You go and take the rubbish, like, because they knew that what they were saying, really. I mean, because there were so many things that struck us, weren't there, in that press conference? I mean, to me, it was just oh, there's nothing unusual about fishermen being at the river, as if we didn't know that. Of course, we know there's nothing unusual about fishermen being at the river, but why have these fishermen not come forward? There's things like that. She was horrible, but she was set up to do it. She was defensive, and I feel a bit more sorry for her now that I've read this, because she didn't want to do it. She knew that she didn't know enough about it to do it, and it should have been someone of higher rank according to the police's own rules of conduct. So, it's like, you could almost feel sorry for her, really. No wonder she was so defensive. Apparently she wasn't happy with it. We'll see that as we go down. She didn't want to do it. She felt it wasn't for her to do. I think that maybe explains her defensiveness. Anyway, the SIO was requested due to other officers being unavailable to jointly undertake the press conference on the 15th of February. And the other officer not available was Pauline Stables, who was ill. Despite the operational need, the choice to use the SIO in this way was not in line with the College of Policing's Engagement and Communication APP, and was contrary to the judgment of the SIO. This was a significant request, considering the substantial operational activity being undertaken by the SIO at the time. The wider communications and engagement activity relating to the investigation is considered later in this report. So, conclusions. Lancashire Constabulary's Chief Officer team should have recognised the level of media and social media interest in this case and the impact it was having on public confidence. On this basis, a more senior officer should have been selected to represent the police in the media at a much earlier stage. The SIO's performance in the press conference on the 15th of February was competent. They displayed comprehensive knowledge of all the investigative detail, helping to dispel myths and rumours. Not really, sorry, no. Made more rumours. The pressure and frustrations of combining both the SIO and PIP 4 talking head roles were at times understandably evident. The SIO received extensive personal criticism for matters unrelated to their role. In other words, people were saying, about her straightening her hair. Well, if you were going on TV, would you not straighten your hair or try and look nice? Of course you would. You're going on TV. And this is women that were making these comments that I saw, and that really upsets me when women are so nasty about other women. The fact that she straightened her hair. Why shouldn't she straighten her hair? Anyway, despite this, the SIO continued. Well, I just want to say, and I think you're right, Jackie. She is tough. Of course, she's tough, but she's not been used to being in the papers, all over social media. I know what that's like. To me, I put myself on here. I'm on YouTube. and I take this lovely, people say lovely things, and that's lovely, but people don't always say lovely things. People say spiteful, nasty things. Now I'm developing a thick skin for that. My son's told me, you've got to just decide either you want to be on YouTube or you don't. But if you want to be on YouTube, you can't control what people are going to say for you, say about you. You just can't control it, because people will make their opinions. Some people will like you, some people won't like you. And that's fine. I don't mind people not liking me, but some people are really spiteful, nasty, say horrible things. And Rebecca got a lot of that. Now, she's not an actress. She's not a politician. She's not somebody who's in the public eye. She was in organised crime and that, yeah, and she'd be tough. I expect she's been called a few things, and she's, but she's not been on the telly all over the world with people saying, oh God, she straightened her hair, or what she got that dress on for, what's she doing this for, what's she doing that for. She's not that. That's the price of fame that people suffer when they get famous. That what comes with it is the fact that you know that people are going to be watching you, everything you wear, everything you say. So no, Rebecca, as tough as she might be, I expect, because some of the horrible things that were said about her appearance, I expect she cried quite a few times. That she might be tough, but no woman, no matter how tough a woman is, when someone criticizes your appearance, and mainly other women, to be honest, there's a lot of other women saying nasty things. That Sarah Vine, that horrible, spiteful woman in the paper, like really nasty things about people's appearance, not about her behavior, or why did she say this or why did she say that. I don't think there's a woman alive, and Rebecca takes a pride in her appearance. You can see that. So, there won't be a woman alive that won't have found that difficult. And I do feel for her. I always felt for her right from the beginning for that, even though I was thinking, well, why is she being so defensive? Continued to lead the investigation and deserves credit for their resilience, commitment, and dedication. Lancashire Constabulary should review which staff are media trained and whether this gives them the level of confidence and training to present to the media. This does explain to me why on that conference she was so defensive, wasn't she? She wasn't comfortable in it at all. And reading this now, I do feel a little bit sorry for her, because she was sort of set up, wasn't she? It was just another. And that's misogyny as well. Yeah, let the woman take the fall. Let the woman take the fall. Let her take the criticism. Let her take the flak. And she was, I expect that wasn't very nice for her. I wonder if she's managed to get another job yet. She was looking for a job, but she found it difficult after all this. Media oversight. While the disclosure of personal information concerning Nicola is addressed in detail elsewhere in this report, it requires additional comment here. It's notable that, despite the status and complexity of this aspect of the investigation, there was no chief officer oversight of the exact detail of this highly personal media release. Including that of the Gold Commander. Daily Gold Group meetings should have presented better insight and control with such critical matters, which are likely to have an impact on public confidence and reputation. Although operational and personal decisions were considered by senior leaders, less consideration was given to the broader ethical impacts and the wider responsibilities of policing towards the public. This was an area where executive team discussion could have been helpful via engagement with the Gold Group and appropriate referral to the Chief Officer team. Conclusions. The decision to release personal information of a sensitive nature should only be made at the most senior level and following consultation with the Force's DPO. Sufficient Chief Officer team engagement did not take place. Now, I sort of agree with that in one way, but that it goes right back to the beginning, doesn't it? Because if in the beginning, I don't know what they didn't have to say anything. If they would have cordoned off that area and not released any information to the media, cordoned it off so people couldn't just go and have a look. And I'm talking about the mainstream media, controlled like the information that they gave out. Nobody had to know anything about this. Do you know, like, people go missing. Dive teams go out looking for them along rivers every day, but there's no media reporting about it, or there might be just a piece in the local newspaper. And something I've started to think about as well. This is anyway. No, I'm not going into that. But anyway, no, I'm not here to do that. I'm just trying to work out how far I'm going to go here before. All right, I'll go down to the end of the chapter. Yeah. Enforced visibility. On the matter of Chief Officer of Visibility, they found there were extensive concerns amongst people within LC. So the concerns were in the police themselves. The size, complexity and scale of the investigation, in particular the media interest, meant that staff felt under extreme pressure throughout. Staff members stated they would have expected and welcomed more direct support from the chief officer team. One senior member of the team stated that they had not seen their line manager for 3 weeks. Another member emphasised how they had started to doubt what they were doing and reflected they just wanted their top cover to say, "You're right." They didn't feel appreciated. A colleague in LC suggested that the CO team observed but didn't act. It was reflected by colleagues in the constabulary that direct contact by the CO team with staff only took place once Nicola had been recovered. It was just chaos, wasn't it? It was just a mess. They couldn't cope with it. The SIO received substantial and inappropriate personal criticism regarding their appearance in the media following their input to the press conference on the 15th of February. Yeah, you have to think when if you imagine how, if that was you, how that would feel. I think people don't realise, people make throwaway comments and they don't realise sometimes. I mean, she probably read all them. I suspect that was horrible, actually, for her. I'm sorry, but I do feel for her. And if you don't feel for someone taking comments about their personal appearance nasty, if you don't, you're a twonk, because you wouldn't like it if somebody criticised your physical appearance. And not only, but and then you had to read about it all in the papers as well. Not even just someone. It's hard enough, isn't it, if your partner says to you, "Oh God, you're not going out in that, are you?" And you sort of go, "Oh, right, okay, I won't." Or, says, "Oh, you're putting on a bit of weight," or, what have you done to your face? You've got spots. Or it's bad enough when it's just personal, you and one other person. Imagine seeing that all over the newspapers. And don't forget, Rebecca, she's not an actress. She's not a film star. She's not a singer. She's a police, or she was a policewoman. And, it's not right, whether I like her, don't like her. I feel a bit more sorry for her since I've read this report, because I understand her defensiveness, etc. That was the only thing that I thought, why is she so defensive about everything? And I understand it a bit more now. But I mean, that's horrible to have to see all that, and especially for a woman. I think women would never criticise a man's appearance in the same way. I don't think. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, it's not nice. So they received this criticism regarding their appearance in the media following their input to the press conference on the 15th of February. Several senior officers outside Lancashire Constabulary voiced their support to the SIO publicly and privately. It was suggested that limited support was provided from senior levels, some of which came only after others had commented. A particular complaint was heard that staff felt their welfare had not been considered by the CO team. Well, I'll tell you what, this CO team, they're pretty crap, aren't they? And the CEO, I think they've retired as well, have they now? It is noted from records, however, that staff welfare was discussed on 6 occasions on goal group meetings between the 7th of February and the 24th of February, with actions set. It was recorded on the 24th of February that the chief officer team. Now, let's just think about this for a minute. So not only they didn't look after Nicola's family properly because they didn't allocate a family liaison officer, they didn't deal with the media properly, they didn't. No, they didn't even look after their own people properly. The staff welfare was rubbish. Everybody was feeling anxious and not feeling that, they were being. It was just a total mess. They are admitting that in here, really. You put in this big long report and you've got to go through all the gums to get to the nitty gritty of it. It wasn't just a total joke, really. But so the staff now, the staff in general, and we now find out that Rebecca was hung out to dry at that conference. And now talking about like just the general people that were involved, nobody was being looked after. God, so this is the top of Lancashire Police that have cocked all this up, because you have to start at the top and for it to filter down. Goodwill, if you like, and good practice starts at the top and filters down. And if the police force. Okay, thank you, Ocean. I can't look at my phone while I'm doing this because it will distract me. It's the police force, up at the top doing everything wrong and not looking after the ones, on the foot soldiers, if you like. Weren't looking after them, and they're the ones that deal with the public. So they're no better off or don't know much and getting frustrated. So it just so whoever is at the top or was at the top, it's their fault. Expressed huge pride and thanks for all officers and staff involved in dealing with an unprecedented situation. Prior to this, the PIP 4 communicated their thanks to 200 plus staff by email on 20th of February, reassuring them of public support. While the gratitude of the CO team was expressed in goal group meetings, feedback provided to the review team suggests that this was not a sentiment experienced by their staff. There would appear to be a discrepancy between actions set and the experience received. Okay. It comes back down to it wasn't declared a critical incident, isn't it? So people suggested, or members of the LC suggested, that recommendations were not being listened. Not long to go now. So if you want to get your ranting, we've all had a little rant during this video. It's not bad to have a rant as long as we don't fall out, which we're not going to fall out. But yeah, if you want to get your little ranting in a polite and sort of respectful manner, it's nearly finished. Listen to it was difficult to challenge a decision. However, it is acknowledged that the Chief Constable has encouraged and is encouraging a healthy culture of challenge in instances where an individual disagrees with an executive decision. Bit more blah, 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 blah. So there was minimal direct engagement between the Chief Officer team and the wider operational leads and staff during the time span of this incident, which was reflected by officers and staff during the review. This prevented opportunities for discussion on areas that may have helped to shape strategic decision making. So the recommendations are the Chief Officer team should consider how to improve their relationships with gold groups within the LC, especially the degree of delegation of authority. It should consider how senior officers should approach the overruling of decisions and should ensure that there are associated opportunities for challenge. LC should also explore what additional practice steps can be taken to ensure that officer and staff well-being is supported by the CO team during high-profile and highly scrutinised investigations. So here again, I think we've got the graph. There's the graph about the Twitter. So the dark blue, I think, are Twitter. No, the light blue are the Twitter shares, and the dark blue are articles on MSN, etc. What's this? Yeah, so online, these are the articles published. Blue broadcasts, yellow print only, and blogs 413. Is that in one day? Yeah, I'd have to look at that more carefully. Oh, this was interesting because, because around the same time, or this year anyway, of course, these are three big stories that they've been. So there was the Constance Martin and Mark Gordon. You know, that was that couple who disappeared. Very mysterious. I don't know when we'll get to find the details of that, and their baby was found deceased. Do you remember that case? So this is the attention that was given to that case. This was the attention given to the Titan submersible. Remember the strange thing that was going down to look at the Titanic that seemed to sort of just break apart when they touched onto the surface of the sea, not the surface of the sea, you know, the seabed. And this is the Nicola Bulley case. Yeah, interesting. Where are we going from here? I'm going to stop here because, yeah. Did I go on to the next chapter? Yeah, I'm going to stop here. Yeah, chapter 3, communications. That's the next thing, isn't it? And that's what I'll be doing tonight. There'll be a live tonight. Okay, so that's it for leadership, or lack of it, should we say, lack of leadership in the report. So the next thing in the report is communications. Now, Funky suggested that maybe we should have a night off tonight and do something a bit lighter. So I'm doing a live at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to put a poll in the community post to just ask, do you want me to carry on with this, do the next section, or tonight for the Friday night live, do you want a night off from this, something a bit lighter? So see, I don't know what yet, but I'll find something that hopefully you'd be interested in, a little bit lighter, a little bit more, that we, because you know, it is very emotive, isn't it? People have got strong feelings, you know, about the police, about Peter, about all sorts of things. So it stirs strong emotions, and we've had a good little rant in the chat, but we haven't fallen out, and that's what I like, you know, with it. We all want to put our views over, and you know, of course we all think we're right, of course we do, that's what opinions are about, but we can listen to other people's opinions and then probably still think what we thought before, but at least we're listening, and at least we're respecting other people's opinions. So that's it, we've all got the right to say what we think, you know, as long as we're not nasty to anybody, as long as we don't actually, you know, call anybody any names, or you know, we can do that sort of after we come off the chat, and we can have a little swear to ourselves if we want to. But we shouldn't do it, you know, to each other just because somebody doesn't agree with us. And I do think it's hard when it's a subject like this that it's good that people feel strongly about it. I believe it's always good to have strong opinions about things, because the alternative is to just like, I don't know, I don't care. You know, it's good to have opinions. It's good to have convictions, not actual prison convictions, but, you know, to have convictions about things and to think there's a right way of doing something and a wrong way of doing something, to have principles. It's right and good, and I think that's something that we all have. It's just that we've got to learn to accept that some people's principles might be a little bit more different than ours. Yeah, why don't we yeah, why don't we talk about woke or transgender? No, because I'm not, you know, we don't want anything too controversial, I think. Dream big, saying as long as it's not soft and fluffy. Maybe we should talk about cats, things that are soft and fluffy. Now, I was going to say things that we can all agree on, but there'd be bound to be someone who'll come and say, oh, I can't stand cats. I have had a couple of, when I had my white cat, if you remember, you'll know because you'll have seen the picture of her on the animals section that I've been showing on the members so far. I'm going to show all those animals next week. My cat Angel, she used to get on the table when students were studying and lie on their work, and she was just a beautiful cat. She was so friendly. I even know one guy who came back to do another course with me just because of the cat. You know, you'd like to think he'd come back because he thought I was a brilliant teacher and he wanted to learn more Spanish. But no, the first day that he arrived for his second course, first words out of his mouth was, "Where's Angel? Where's the cat?" So I have had that, but I've also had a couple of students who don't like cats, you know, and they would like literally scream. You know, I know some people have got phobia about cats, and I don't mean to make fun of that, but for God's sake, you know, it's only a little cat, and she was so soft. She was, you know, so friendly. And I remember one said to me, what did she say? She said, oh, I don't like cats or something. And I said, well, she doesn't like you. Because you know, I was thinking, oh no, if you don't want to, you know, a bit like that with my channel. If you don't like what I'm doing here, go away and go and watch someone else's YouTube channel. But and I was a bit like that, you know. That's just me. I'm sort of bullshit, really. And thought, oh, if you don't like the cat, don't come and study Spanish with me. There's loads of places you can go and study Spanish. Go and study there if you don't like cats. Anyway, so that was Angel. So yeah, we could talk about cats. Yeah, I'll try and leave a poll open for suggestions. Yeah, maybe we could maybe we could talk about UFOs or something. Yeah, let's lighten the topic and talk about Israel. Yeah. No, I've tried to avoid that subject as well. Exactly, Jackie. We don't want to live in an echo chamber, do we? You know, we want to debate. We want to debate. So we're going. I think generally we can think we'll do something different tonight. What, I don't know. Maybe not too controversial, but something. You know, we're going to have different opinions, whatever we do, because there's a lot of you. So you're not going to get all these people to agree with everything. But yeah, I'm going to have a think about it, and I'll put it on the community poll as to and see what gets the most votes. Have a think about it. I mean, it was quite popular. Tina, yeah, exactly. It was quite popular when I did the ghosts and things like that. Maybe I should flat Earth. Yeah, Jim suggesting flat Earth. Yeah. Driving, what drives you mad about the way people drive or things? Yeah. Oh, look, I'm reading the chat now. You know, I'm always coming to the end when I start reading the chat. Yeah. I put a poll, but I'm going to think of a few ideas, like things that I was going to do I'm just do my No, I won't do it. I was going to do a rant of the day. I might still do the rant of the day. There is something I want to rant about. I'll do that in just like a separate video. But yeah, so thank you for watching. All go and lie down in a dark room. Please stay friends with each other. You know, we've in this chat for all this time that, you know, that we've been chatting like properly. It's been months and months and months, and you know, this is sort of split people a little bit. I don't like it, but anyway, we'll come back together. It's just everybody's just been knocked for six, I think. So yeah, remember to live and love carefully and wisely. I've forgotten what I normally say. And I'll see you later today. And until I see you later, may your God go with you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.